Hello and welcome, I'm Ben Brownlee from Boris Effects. In this short tutorial, we're going to be building a bigger, more beautiful glow effect using Sapphire Glow and the Effect Builder. Well, let's start with building a better glow here in Adobe Premiere. If you're not a Premiere user, then hold with me anyway, because in about 30 seconds time, we're going to come out of the Premiere interface and everything you see is going to be exactly the same, whether you're working in Avid, Resolve, After Effects, or any of the other supported hosts. Because the first thing we're going to do is come into Sapphire's Effect Builder. And I can do this within the host application by coming down and finding my Sapphire Builder effects and using S Effect. And I'm just going to bring this over onto my clip. And in my effect controls, I'm going to come into Edit Effect. And here we are into the Sapphire Effect Builder. And this interface is exactly the same no matter what host you're working in. Now, if you've never used the builder before, then you're missing out on probably one of the most important effects that is found in Sapphire. And that's because the builder isn't one effect. You can use and chain together almost all of the Sapphire effects just in this one interface. There are a few restrictions with some of the time filters, for example, but more or less every effect is available within the builder. And it's called the builder because we can build up multiple effects in this node graph down at the bottom here. So for example, if I wanted to add in a blur, I can put a blur into here. Let's try and blur it so we can still see it though. And then add something like a fisheye. There we go. We can just sort of chain these together down at the bottom. Now, this is an effect I don't want to do. So I'm going to get rid of all of these because we're going to use the builder to make a bigger, better, more beautiful glow. I'll just type in glow to search for the different glow effects we have. Now, the Sapphire Glow is one of the most popular effects in the package, and with good reason. It's a very fast, high quality glow that allows you to do a lot of other interesting stuff all built in. So let's see how that would work normally. Let's come in. I can adjust things like the brightness and the threshold. Let's come down, bring the threshold down quite low and bring the brightness up so we can start to see this here. And we change things like the glow width and even change up stuff like the aspect ratio with the width X and Y so we can get some nice streaky types of glow. And if I come down to the bottom, I can change how this combines together. At the moment it's screening together, but we can also set this to add to get a more kind of intense glow working. And I can turn on and off this node down in the bottom with Control or Command D. And, you know, so far it's looking like a nice sort of fun little glow. If you're using Sapphire 2019.5 or above, you can also play this back in the builder as well so we can get an idea of how this is going to work in motion. And this is working out all right. I mean, it's quite a nice little glow. But let's make this even bigger and better. I'm going to come in and I'm going to call this glow Thin Bright Glow. I'm going to tweak this so it's slightly different. I'm going to keep my brightness quite high for the second, but I'm going to take the width down very low. And I'm just going to scrub this up. So we're getting a very intense core of our glow. I'm going to bring that brightness back a bit. Say a bit, I mean a lot. And then just bring this up until we're glowing in quite nicely. I'm going to add another glow here. So I can right click on my thin bright glow and I can just go duplicate glow, or I can just drag another version from the components over on the left hand side. And let's just drag this in to connect it in. And I'm going to call this one Mid Bright Glow. Just rename it so I know what it's doing. And I'm going to take my glow width up a bit. So I'm going to take the glow width up. I'm going to take the brightness down as well. I might even change how it's going to combine. So I'm going to change this to screen now. So I don't want this quite as intense. We can see where that's affecting with the threshold. And I'm sort of happy with where the threshold is. So this is what I like to do when I'm figuring out what the glow is doing, is take the brightness all the way up. So we see it quite heavy. And then it breaks down. There we go. So we've got sort of slightly more fun glow there. Let's keep this rolling. Let's just right click on my mid bright glow and duplicate it again. Bring this in. So now we've got the source going through 3 different glows, and I'm going to call this one mid wide glow. Rename that. Do the same as before. I'm going to take the brightness up, and I'm going to take my glow width up as well. So make this wider. I can adjust the threshold if I need to. I think it's actually all right where it is at the moment. And then just take the brightness down to where I need it to be. So something around about there. So now if I select all of these and hit Control or Command D to deselect all of them. Let's bring it over here a little bit. We've got a much richer glow happening already. And I'm going to change these up even more now. I'm going to go with my mid bright glow. I'm going to take my width up just a little bit. So it's about, so it's a bit wider actually. So I'll leave that to about 1.2. With my mid wide glow, I'll take the width X up even more to take that to about 1.4. So we get this slightly sort of asymmetric type of glow. And that's starting to look quite nice. I'm liking that. And then I'm going to add one more. And I'm just going to drag this from the top so I've got a sort of blank canvas to work with. Again, do as I did before, take the brightness up. Take the threshold down so we can see what it's doing. And with this one, I'm going to take the glow width and I'm going to take it really wide. I'm going to take it even wider than the limits of the bar there. I'm going to take it to about 4.5. And I can adjust the brightness as I like it. Actually, the brightness around about 5, that's looking quite good. Does it look good all the way through? Yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. So what we've got now is this big, wide, diffuse element going over the top of everything else. So if we take that off and turn it on and off, you can see this is acting like a bit of atmosphere. And it gives us a really nice sort of feel that this light is transmitting through something in the air. So maybe a bit of smoke or something. And we can actually increase that idea. We come down to the bottom of the selection parameters. I actually do have an atmosphere control. And I can turn up my atmosphere amplitude. If I turn it up a lot, we get a very smoky sort of look. A little bit too smoky in that case, because we just want to give it a bit of character rather than sort of say, hello, this is smoke. We'll actually whack the amplitude up a little bit so I can then come in and just look at the frequency. So we'll take the frequency down just a touch to about 0.67. Happy with that. And then I can adjust the amplitude where I need it. 1.5, 1.5, yeah, I'm sort of happy with where that is. Maybe touch it a little bit further down, about 1.4. I think that's looking cool. And that's given me a nice, natural, bigger glow than I was able to get with just a single instance of the effect. So I'm going to hit OK now. And that takes us back into the host. We can really see the before and after. And what we can also see if I move down here is that we have all the parameters available to us from our different glows right here in the host interface. Now there's a lot of stuff there that I haven't touched and I won't touch. And this is where Builder gets really interesting for me. I'm going to come back into the effect and edit the effect again. And I can choose which of these parameters I want to display back in the host. So I'm going to turn all of them off. Now the interesting ones for me are actually brightness, threshold, and glow width. Because those are the ones that we're going to be wanting to change between different pieces of footage. You know, those are the ones that we want to be able to adjust. All of the rest of them, we might be adjusting, you know, every now and again. But for the most part, these are going to stay at their default values. I'm going to do the same with the other ones as well. I'm going to come into my mid-bright glow, turn off everything, and only turn on the parameter for the brightness, threshold, glow width. Mid-wide glow, turn everything off, do the same thing. Brightness, threshold, glow width. The wide Atmos glow, turn everything off. Brightness, threshold, glow width. And because this is the atmosphere one, I'm going to turn on at the bottom here our atmosphere amplitude as well. That's cool. So now if I hit OK on this again, and we take a look at the parameters we have available to us, we're now only seeing the 13 most useful parameters that we need. So at any point, I can just come in, change the brightness up on any of these, change the glow width up if I need to on that. And that's looking kind of cool. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it onto a different clip. I'll show you the clip actually without the glow. This might make a difference. Turning this on, we can see that everything just blows out completely. The parameters that we were working with for the previous clip, they're not suitable for what we're trying to do here. So here's how I'm going to come in and actually fix that. I set my brightness on all of these ones back down to 0. And we're going to start with the thin bright glow again. Now the first thing I want to do is actually just adjust the threshold. Let's zoom in on this so we can see this a bit clearer. So that's the important thing with this, is getting the threshold right. If I get the threshold right on this, everything else kind of just works. So we're just picking up the little highlights there, and we're going to build on that. Going to come into my second glow now, bring the brightness up on this, bring the threshold up until it's just glowing a little bit more. I can actually take the width down on this a little bit, maybe take it to 30. So a threshold just below 1 gives me only the brightest areas. And I can adjust the glow on that one. Come down to my mid-wide glow. I can already tell the glow width on this has to come really far down. And the threshold has to come really quite high up. Take the brightness down on that as well. Still going to keep it quite bright because I still want that big flashy glow. There we go. And just balance the other ones out. And now we come to the wide atmosphere glow. Let's bring this brightness up quite high. Bring the atmosphere amplitude down a little bit. Bring the glow width down a little bit, and then bring the brightness back down. I'm going to keep the threshold low on this because I want everything to sort of have this diffusion around it. Let's play that back. And that's certainly glowy. Before and after. And I've got this basic sort of recipe. I can save this preset out. And we can save this out. Let's find actually a nicer thumbnail for it. Something there. Save that as a preset. And I'll call this one Ben's Bigger Glow. And we can give a nice little description of it. We can give some characteristics on this as well. So something like blurred, bright, glowing. There we go. Something like that. And I can save this as a preset just on my own machine, or I can export this out as a separate file that I can then copy over onto other machines. If we come into DaVinci Resolve here, we can see if I come into the Open Effects that we have the exact same sort of layout available to us. So if I come over to another clip and let's add in that glow again, I'm going to come to my effects library. Let's come and look for S effect and I'll bring it over the top. Come into my Open Effects. Let's just close that down a second. I can load in my preset, find it in my builder presets. And let's search this for glow. And I come in with the bigger, beautiful glow again. And we have the same thing as before. So I'm going to take the brightness down on all of the other glows, apart from the first one. Adjust my threshold as I need it. Adjust the glow width as I need it. And start bringing in the other glows as well. And now we know the trick. We can do this nice and fast. And let's play that back. And we've certainly got a nice big fat giant glow there. Cool. And we can do the same actually in the color room in Resolve as well. It's exactly the same layout. So have the S effect applied to a new node. Let's turn off the gallery so we can actually see some of this a bit more. And I can come in and make any sort of adjustments that I need to. And just to show you can use this same idea in Avid as well. Here we go. We can just be adjusting up the brightness. And if at any point you want to adjust any of the parameters that aren't shown in the ones we've chosen, you can, of course, just come back, go back into Edit in the Effect Builder, and we can make any bigger changes here. So maybe adding a color to the glow if that's something that you wanted to do. Then again, as soon as you're happy, we hit OK, and we're back into the interface that we know and love. And that's how we create a bigger, more beautiful glow by chaining together multiple versions of S-Glow within the Sapphire Builder. My name's Ben Brownling with Boris Effects. Thanks a lot for now. If you learned something new, then please remember to hit the like button, it really helps out. If you want to know more about the Sapphire Effect Builder, then please hit me up in the comments section below. And do the same if you have any ideas for future tutorials as well. I'm always listening. And to keep up to date with Sapphire and the other Boris Effects products, then head on over to boriseffects.com.